Now, the movie on the life of the late South African music legend Brenda Fassie is likely to hit cinemas later this year. The film chronicles her journey towards becoming one of the country's most iconic entertainers. The pop diva, affectionately known as MaBrrr, died in 2004, and a UK-based production company called Showbizbee says it has acquired rights to film the story of Brenda Fassie. Now, Showbizbee director Mr. Edward Shaw now joins us live via Skype. Mr. Edward, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, sir, please clarify if Bongani was actually indeed consulted, paid any money, and that all legal routes were observed rather.
Well, I'll tell you, firstly, good morning, and thank you very much indeed for having me on the show. Let me just be clear in terms of the legal framework that we have with Bongani Fassie and Legacy Nova. We have a contract with Bongani and Legacy Nova in terms of making the production of Brenda, the movie. Any other legal parameters that surround the film with any other third party is non-knowledgeable to us, and it's irrelevant to us as well.
All right. Now, Mr. Shaw, let's talk about the biopic then. Who really owns the rights to that film? Is it Showbizbee, as you've insinuated?
No, it will be Bongani Fassie, who has the full rights to the film. We have been contracted to work in partnership with Bongani Fassie and Legacy Nova to complete that project, and that's exactly what we intend to do.
Now, Mr. Shaw, the claims by Mr. Chico Twala, and as you know that we all knew in South Africa as him being the man that was responsible for the Brenda Fassie brand. Let's talk about his claims. Have you heard about his claims to have bought the rights from the Brenda Fassie estate, saying that your company will not be producing the movie and that you must expect a court interdict? Have you received any court interdict, and are you going to fight it in court?
Well, we will follow any sort of indication or any request for any court appearance, of course. But in terms of the production of the movie, that is still going ahead. It's not going to stop. And I find it very sad that it's come to this. This movie should be celebrated by everyone. When we released our press release 2 weeks ago, it was well received with fantastic positive feedback from the fans. And we're so fortunate and happy and privileged to be a part of that. I just emphasize that it's very sad that, you know, the media attention is surrounding legalities and court cases and claims and what have you. It should be about Brenda the movie, and, you know, we're happy and excited to be a part of that as well.
Absolutely. Mr. Shaw, would you give us any reasons as to why you didn't maybe think about consulting Chico Twala? I mean, we do know he's responsible for for a lot of Brenda Fassie's hits. Why wasn't he consulted and made part of the project, so to speak, sir?
Our responsibility is to consult with Bongani Fassie, the son of Brenda Fassie, and the management company Legacy Nova. That is exactly what we have done. We've been in negotiations for a considerable amount of time. We've been in concept phase from August last year. We've had numerous negotiations and dialogue with both parties. And we received the contract of which we proposed in terms of our competency and capabilities, of which we achieved in November to work together on the movie. So again, any other surrounding third parties is of course irrelevant, and you know, our contract is with Legacy Nova and Bongani Fassie. That's who our contract is with. We don't have a contract with any other person.
All right, and while we're still on Mr. Chico Twala, Edward, he says that he will not allow all the music that he produced for Brenda Fassie to be actually used by your company for the movie. What is your plan regards that? Because we do know there are music rights and things that have to be signed when commissioning such a product.
Well, of course, in any movie, there's always challenges in regards to, you know, content. Of course, I can't comment on the content of the film, but what I can assure you is that it's going to be a film made by South Africans with an entire South African cast. I mean, our board member at Showbizbee and executive producer Pamela Naidu is South African as well. The co-executive producer is Bongani Fassie. It's going to be a film of which will portray Brenda, of which will relate to the fans. It will be for the fans, made by fans.
All right, and as we understand it, Mr. Shaw, it says 75% of Brenda's music is actually was actually compiled by Chico. But let's talk about the good news now. When are you planning to release the movie, and what can people look forward to within this movie?
Well, Brenda Fassie was loved worldwide, not just in South Africa. We absolutely love her in the UK. We love her. The personality, and she's such a legend of which deserves this movie, and the world deserves it. And so our aim is to release the film later this year. Having said that, we don't have an official release date yet, but the aim is for late 2018.
All right, Mr. Shaw, before I let you go, I mean, tell us more about the movie. I mean, we are also die-hard fans of MaBrrr here in South Africa. Would you classify it as a musical, perhaps?
So, sorry, can you repeat that last bit, the last question?
Yes, I wanted you to clarify for us if you are going to classify this film as a musical or otherwise, and to also tell us a bit more about the film. What can we expect? What exactly, which parts of Brenda's life are you showcasing within this film, sir?
The film will portray the whole personality of Brenda, from her journey from Langa to Johannesburg. It will provide the fans and viewers of a film that completely relates to Brenda Fassie. It's very exciting. We're all excited here in London, and our team in South Africa are very excited. And it's going to be, it's quoted as one of the most anticipated films to come out of South Africa. So we're privileged to be a part of that, and I can promise you it's going to be worth the wait.
Mr. Shaw, without giving anything away, I mean, where are you shooting? Will you be casting any South African actresses and actors? And of course, will you be using some of those live footage that was from performances that MaBrrr actually did in the past?
Well, I can't comment on the content of the film, but what we are doing is doing a nationwide open casting for the role of Brenda Fassie, of which will be decided by Bongani Fassie, Legacy Nova and Showbizbee. The person who will be playing Brenda Fassie will be released on the 11th of February this year. It's one of the largest open castings in the history of South Africa. We believe that, there's so much untapped talent in South Africa. We're not a sort of production company that is going to cast anyone from America just because they've got a big name, or indeed the UK. This is a South African production by South Africans for South Africa.
And Mr. Shaw, a very quick one before I let you go. Are you looking at, of course, showcasing other local talents in the near future?
Well, look, I consider myself more South African than English. I love South Africa. Yeah. I love everything about it, especially your weather. So, we're focusing on Brenda the movie. That is our sole and main project. Our entire team in London, all 18 of us, have been working tirelessly for the last 7 to 8 months, full-time on this project. It's going extremely well. We've had some fantastic feedback. We really appreciate the support of the fans by supporting us in this movie. It is long overdue, but I can assure the South African fans of Brenda Fassie, and of course everyone in South Africa, that we won't let you down. Mr.
Shaw, thank you so much. We are eagerly waiting for that film. That was the director of the production company that is said to be producing the Brenda Fassie biopic, Showbizbee, Mr. Edward Shaw. And of course, he says we can expect the name of the person that will be casted as Brenda Fassie on the 11th of February.